Welcome to Cozy Reading Club, the podcast where we read the book and tell you about it so you don't have to.
So picking up where we left off, Odysseus was still with the Phoenicians, right? Telling them his story.
Exactly. He just finished recounting that pretty intense trip to the land of the dead. Got some prophecies, but yeah, the journey home wasn't getting any easier.
Not at all. And today's part of the story really ramps up the danger. We're talking about some serious perils at sea.
And a pretty significant betrayal too, wasn't it?
Definitely. But first, after leaving Circe again, Odysseus knew he had to face the sirens. Circe had warned him, of course.
Ah, the sirens. Famous for their, irresistible singing that lures sailors to crash on the rocks.
That's the one. Their song promised, well, everything. Knowledge, pleasure. But the catch was certain death. Circe, though, she had a plan.
Right, she told him to plug his crew's ears with beeswax so they couldn't hear the song at all.
Exactly. Smart move for the crew. They just needed to row like mad and not hear a thing.
But Odysseus, he's Odysseus. He wants to hear it, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Circe knew that. So her advice for him was different. She said, let your men tie you to the mast. Tie you really, really tight.
So he could hear the song, but physically couldn't steer the ship towards doom or jump overboard.
Precisely. He gets to experience the legendary song, the knowledge they promised, but he's completely restrained.
Wow. So you've got the crew, ears plugged, rowing hard, oblivious, and Odysseus is tied up hearing this supposedly unbelievably beautiful and wise song.
Yeah, and apparently it wasn't just beautiful music. They sang about, the past, the Trojan War, maybe even the future. Everything a hero like Odysseus would want to know.
Oh, I can see why that's tempting. He must have been fighting against the ropes, shouting at his men to release him.
The text says he was begging them, straining against the bonds. It really shows you that pull, that desire for forbidden knowledge, even knowing the danger.
It does. What a scene. Okay, so they get past the sirens, somehow. But the danger isn't over, right? Not by a long shot?
Nope. Next up, the passage between Scylla and Charybdis. Another fun choice Circe warned him about.
Fun is one word for it. Scylla was the monster, the one with multiple heads.
6 heads, yeah. A hideous monster perched on a cliff, and each head could snatch a sailor right off the deck of a passing ship.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
And Charybdis.
Charybdis was, arguably even worse in a way. A giant whirlpool that would suck down the entire sea, ships and all, 3 times a day and then vomit it back up.
So lose 6 men for sure, or risk losing everyone and the ship itself.
That was the grim calculation Circe advised. Steer closer, Scylla. Lose 6 men, she said, but save the ship and the rest of the crew. It's better than annihilation in Charybdis.
What a horrible decision for a leader to have to make. Just calculating the cost in lives.
It's brutal. And Odysseus, he's a warrior. Did he try to fight Scylla?
You'd think he'd grab his spear.
He did. He put on his armor, stood on the deck, ready for, whatever he thought he could do. But when Scylla struck, it was too fast. 6 of his best men just plucked screaming from the deck. He said it was the most pitiful sight he'd ever seen.
Oh, man. Hearing their cries while trying to avoid the whirlpool on the other side, just unimaginable terror.
Absolutely. The sheer horror of that narrow strait. Right. Surviving that. You'd think they earned a break.
You really would. But no, there's still the matter of the sun god's cattle, isn't there?
There is. Thrinacia, the island of Hyperion, the sun god. Circe warned him about this too. Very specific warning. Leave the cattle alone.
Odysseus knew this, told his men. But they land there anyway. Why?
Bad weather. Storms blew up and trapped them there for a whole month. They couldn't leave.
Okay. And I guess provisions start running low when you're stuck for that long.
Exactly. They ate everything they had from the ship. Then they were fishing, hunting birds, getting desperate, starving.
So Odysseus goes off to pray, right? Trying to get help from the gods.
Yeah, he went inland to pray for escape. And while he was gone, Eurylochus, one of his chief men, steps up.
The same guy who caused trouble before.
The very same. He basically says to the crew, look, are we going to just sit here and starve? Dying of hunger is the worst way to go. Let's take some of these cattle.
Even though Odysseus explicitly forbade it, and they knew they were sacred.
Eurylochus argues that they can make sacrifices, promise to build a big temple for Hyperion back in Ithaca, try to smooth things over later.
Rationalizing it sounds like a terrible idea.
It was. The starving men agreed. They rounded up the best cattle and slaughtered them. They had a feast.
Was there any, immediate divine sign this was a bad move?
Oh, yeah. Really creepy stuff started happening. The hides of the dead cattle started crawling on the ground. The meat they were roasting on the spits started making mooing sounds.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That's unsettling.
Definitely clear signs they'd messed up badly. A major sacrilege.
So Hyperion, the sun god, finds out, obviously. He sees everything.
He does, and he is furious. Goes straight to Zeus and demands vengeance. Says if Odysseus' men aren't punished, he'll, take the sun down to the underworld and shine it among the dead.
Wow. Okay, so he's serious. What does Zeus do?
Zeus promises retribution. So Odysseus and his crew finally get a favorable wind. They set sail, feeling maybe they got away with it.
Oh, no. I sense another storm coming.
The worst one yet.
Yeah.
As soon as they're out of sight of land, Zeus sends a hurricane. A lightning bolt hits the ship square on. The ship is smashed to pieces. All the men are thrown into the sea and drown. Every single one.
All of them, after everything they'd been through.
All of them. Punished for their impiety. Only Odysseus survives.
No. Odysseus, alone again. How did he even survive the shipwreck itself?
He managed to grab onto the mast and keel of the broken ship, lashing them together, but then the storm surge and currents start pulling him.
Oh, kill me.
Right back towards Scylla and Charybdis.
No, not again.
Yep. And this time, he arrives just as Charybdis is doing its giant sucking down the ocean thing.
He's going to be swallowed whole.
It looks like it, but just as the wreckage is pulled under, he makes this incredible leap and grabs onto a fig tree growing out of the cliff face above the whirlpool.
A fig tree. He just hangs there.
He just hangs there, clinging on for dear life, waiting for Charybdis to eventually spew the wreckage back up, which it finally does hours later.
Unbelievable survival instinct. So he grabs the mast pieces again.
Yeah, he drops onto them when they reappear and starts paddling away with his hands finally clear of the whirlpool.
Just paddling alone on pieces of wood in the middle of the sea. He's lost everyone. The gods seem to be actively trying to kill him. Where can he possibly end up now?
And that's exactly where Odysseus pauses his story to the Phaeacians. Utterly alone, adrift, having survived death yet again, but with no ship, no crew, and still far from home.
What a cliffhanger. From siren songs to monstrous choices in a fatal act of desperation, it just doesn't let up. We'll have to see where his solo drift takes him next time. This was Cozy Reading Club, the podcast where we read the book and tell you about it so you don't have to. If you like this series, we invite you to take a look at other series in our podcast and leave a nice review on the platform you are listening this on.